Hi there, this is Tracy from the Papercraft Studio. Thank you for joining me today. So I'm going to show you how I made my Perfect Plants window card. So you can see here in the middle we've got a piece of window sheet so that you can see through, just for something a little bit different. And this is a great suite. It's called Bloom Where You're Planted. I've seen some great cards made with the dies, just with the stamps, just with the papers. I've used a lot of the papers here in mine because this is a class by post kit and I can't include stamped images, so I've relied a lot on the die cuts and on the paper. And the paper's called Bloom Where You're Planted, as is the main suite. But if you do want to buy the stamp set, you can buy it with the dies and save yourself 10%. So I'll show you some of the papers here. I've used these, this piece at the top. This is half a piece of the designer series paper, so I'm going to show you in a bit how I sectioned this off just to get some of these trailing leaves. And then other things in here I've cut. You get all sorts, like brick walls, you get some ferns. This one here, I cut these leaves out to go inside the pot. This little succulent in the plant. So I've done a lot of cutting, but there's some really good B-sides as well. So it's well worth looking at this in the catalogue. I've used this as my brick design at the bottom, and on the back you've got a leafy design. And these pots. So these are fussy cut. This one's a die cut. That's a fussy cut. This is a die cut. So lots of different things here, but there's plenty in these papers that you could make up some really lovely cards. So I'll show you the supplies you need. So you need a piece of basic white cardstock, and this measures 11.5 inches by 4 inches, and I folded that in half at 5 3/4 inches. Okay, and you also need quite a few supplies. I'm just going to take them out. I'm probably going to leave something in there. You need a piece of Just Jade and a piece of grey granite cardstock, and these measure 3 7/8 by 1 7/8. The designer series paper, both of these will measure, and the reason I haven't cut this is because I'm going to show you how to cut it, but both of these will measure 3 3/4 inches by 1 3/4. Sorry, 3 3/4 inches by 1 3/4. Is that what I said? Sorry, it's quite late. I'm filming, so I may have said that the first time. I've used the dies here. Let me show you which ones I've used. Again, this is a suite. No, I don't need to have this. I don't need to have this. And started to see the cards, and then I want that. So I've used this macrame one here in basic white to cut the pot holder. There's another little pot holder here somewhere, that one as well. Then I've used these ones here for the sprigs in Just Jade and Evening Evergreen. I used this little pot here, terracotta pot here, and I've used that in Cinnamon Cider. Anything else I've die cut? I think that's it. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's all of them. Okay, so, and then, like I say, I've got these bits and pieces here from the designer series paper. I've started to fussy cut them. I'm just going to show you how I did them, and how actually fussy cutting really isn't as scary as you think. And of course a window sheet, a piece of window sheet. So this measures 4 by 2 1/4. It's quite hard to see there, but we have one. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to cut the card to create this window section here. Move the pieces to one side. Bring in my trimmer. I'm hoping my blade's still sharp enough because I've cut a lot of these for classes. So hopefully it's not going to go a little jaggedy, but I might need to change it. Okay, so like I say, I have a piece of 11.5 by 4, folded it in half at 5 3/4. So I'm going to slide it in. This is going to be the front of the card, and I'm going to line it up at the 2-inch. Am I in shot? 2-inch score line up here, and cut that section off. We need that. And then slide what you have left along to 1 3/4 inches. Cut that off, and we're going to get rid of this piece. So you can save this to do some stamping on at another time. And then while I've got my trimmer out, so sorry, this is what you're left with. So it looks a bit incomplete. While I've got my trimmer out, so with the Designer Series paper, just bring this back in. And because there's a lot of white space there, and this has a great design on the back as well, which is really useful. So you're not wasting this bit you're cutting off. But I didn't want just all white and no kind of leaf in that bit. So what I did, I cut this along in 3 3/4 sections. This original piece was cut in half. So this is one of the 3 3/4 inch sections across here. And then I just had a look and thought, right, okay, how much of this do I want? So I want to see some white in here, up here, because I want them all to be different lengths, but I don't want too much. So I just took a punt at where I wanted it to be, okay? So I might have done that slightly with more white in. So then once I'm happy with how much I want showing on this side, I've just spun it round and cut it at 1 3/4. Okay, so this piece will get used another day, but I didn't want it to be really thick like that. I wanted it to be, you know, more delicate. So that's how I cut that. So let me show you how you put it together. Okay, so we're going to layer up the grey granite and just jade pieces here. So this brickwork is going to go on here, and the piece we've just cut is going to layer up on there. Okay, so go ahead and stick those together just with some liquid glue. It comes out, either comes out really fast or I have to shake it. Oh, come on Tracy, concentrate. And then it goes off the edge. So let's hope this isn't going to splurge out. Okay, so there's a small border all the way around. There's a very thin border. I just wanted to pick out that just jade in there. And of course you could use Evening Evergreen, or if you wanted the other brickwork at the bottom here, you just change up the base colour. So it's quite a versatile card to get some different looks. And you can get a lot out of this Designer Series paper. There we go. Okay, so those are stuck down there. Now what we want to do, I've got to find, oh, my hands are really sticky, which isn't good now for the window sheet, but with the window sheet, I've cut it so that, let's see if you're going to see this on here. Yeah, you need about 1/4 inch there. So what's going to happen is that's going to tuck under there about 1/4 inch under, and then your base one is going to line up with the bottom of the card here, and it's also going to have about 1/4 inch to go under there too. Actually, I was thinking that didn't line up. This one's going to stick on this piece that we had left over. That's better. I was a bit panicky there. So that's going to line up with the bottom of the card. This is going to stick on here, and then the window sheet's going to stick in the middle. So the best way I found to do it, and let's stick actually this onto this layer. So the grey granite's going onto that piece that I said to hold on to, that we cut, the first cut we did on the card base. So pop that on there. Okay. Then we're going to layer this one onto this top piece. So again, there'll be a little border around the outside. So you'll see that little piece of white underneath. Kind of had this in my head and then changed it up a little bit as I went, which often happens with my designs, and I'm sure everyone who designs cards is the same. Oops, sliding around there. Okay, so that one's in place. Like I say, we want to put about 1/4 inch under there. Any more and you're going to be a bit short at the bottom. Okay, so the way I found best to do it, I'm just going to put little dots of glue along this inside edge of the top. So because we don't want it kind of splurging out too much onto the window sheet, and definitely try not to get any glue on there because it really notices. Okay, so you see on there right near the edge I've put some little dots of glue, and then this picks up dust, you know, instantly, so try and keep it away from anything in the meantime. And then, like I say, about 1/4 inch over. Doesn't matter if you're less, because you'll just have more at the bottom, and then stick that into place. And you can see the glue does splurge a little bit there. I don't know if you can really see, but it will dry clear, so it won't really show. Okay, so that's now in place here. And then what you want to do again is put the dots of glue along here. Decide which way you want the wall to go up, it won't really matter. But then once you've got your dots of glue on the back here, you're going to line the base of your wall, or the base of this basic white, along with the bottom of the card, and then stick it onto the window sheet there. Okay, so again at the top, the piece that you want to go at the top, little dots all the way along. Oops. There we go. So that's my top edge, this is my bottom. I'm going to line it up with the base of the card here, and then just let it fall into place on there and hold it in place so that we've picked up that window sheet along there. Ta-da! There we go. And it looks quite neat on the inside. I didn't hold my top piece in place long enough, so you can do that a bit longer, but you know, I've done it so that it, when the recipient opens the card, it's still going to look quite neat on the inside. Okay, so now it's a case of adding these pieces. So the macrame piece, we're going to pop this popped in. So I started to fussy cut it. I just wanted to show you how easy this is. Now in the dies there are some of the pots and things can be cut out with the dies, so if you have the dies you can use that to cut them out. If you don't, just do it by hand. Even the fiddlier ones aren't that hard, so take your time doing this, but you can pause me at any time. So just because this is quite you know, straight lines, you can just sort of snip away on this one. Okay, so that's going to stick under there in a bit, but I'm also, it doesn't fit perfectly under there, but so we need to be careful where we put our glue points, little dots of glue in a minute on these pieces that you can see aren't going to show under there. But I'm also going to finish off cutting this leaf, fussy cutting the leaf. So I've been around most of it. As always, it's easier to move the paper than the snips, so you just kind of maneuver the paper around. Be really careful down by the stem. This is going to get hidden at the bottom, so don't worry too much about that bit. And I stuck this in after I stuck the pot to this, and then I maneuvered it so that I had one leaf coming out and the others were sat underneath. So on here, like I say, we don't want glue everywhere because some of the points are too high up, so I suggest here, 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 maybe a tiny bit down the bottom here. Okay, so where did I say? Here, right. Okay, so basically anywhere where it's going to stick, and in those two corners. There. So what you don't really want to do is have the glue showing on this side. I mean, it doesn't look the neatest on that side, but you know, it's nicer to not see the glue. So you're going to, am I still in shot? Stick this to it. Like I say, it's not perfect fit under there, but just about. There we go. And then with this leaf, where did mine go? Here. Like I say, I tucked this one coming through the front and then had these two at the back. So I'm just going to stick it to the back like that. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this side at the bottom. Not too far up because obviously some of the leaves are going to show. So I just pop that one through there and then arranged it so that, you know, quite a lot of the leaves show. Just thought that looked really cute under there. And then to stick it on, again, I don't want the glue underneath, so I put some glue under this piece here, and then, you know, the pot, quite a lot of it stuck on. So just on that section, oops, there where it's a bit wider. Ooh. And then along the bottom of the pot, because quite a lot of that's going to be stuck, and I wanted this little trailer piece here to stay clear. So just bear that in mind when you're sticking that on. You definitely want that section there to be up here rather than on the window sheet. So there we go, first one stuck on. And then with this pot, it's got little handles here. They were too fussy to cut, so I just cut them off. Feel free if you want to try and cut round them, but I'm just going round the top of the pot like that. So completely got rid of those handles. And then what I did do, because I didn't want to just stick the succulent on there because it looked a bit rubbish because it wasn't in the pot, and actually I'm just going to finish this one off as well. With this, sharp snips are your friend, because you can just get into those little pieces here. But you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. I say that a lot, don't I, in my projects. Oops. There we go. Yeah, so if you just stuck him on there, I mean, you can, but you can, I guess it does look okay. What I actually did was, and it's up to you, so it didn't look rubbish, actually. I thought it would look worse, but I actually cut this part of the pot around so that you just really saw the front. And then I just popped the succulent behind and then stuck this back behind it. Did I, or did I leave that off? Let's see. I'm going to stick the succulent on first and then see what happened. So a little bit of glue down here on the front, because that's the bit that's going to stick to the pot. So I wanted it, oh, got a slightly different succulent on this one. Must be different on the papers. Okay, so yeah, so you can see that now looks like it's in the pot. So then it's up to you whether you then stick this piece back on around the back so you can see the back of the pot, or if you leave it off. Entirely up to you. I might stick it back on. So I'm just going to put some glue in the middle and then line it up to where I think the back would have been. Anyway, not essential, but I quite liked it like that. And then I've stuck this one down flat. Not too high up on the succulent because that goes above the window sheet. Whoops. So just on the pot, so that I know then where to stick this down, about there. And then with this, I wanted it to stand up a little bit to give it a bit of dimension. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of up a bit. So I stuck the little kind of grasses together just with some glue. So I put the Just Jade one on top and offset them a little bit. Cute. And then stuck the pot on top of that. You may have some little bits still to poke out from there. Love the details on here. You see it just puts those little dots and cuts in. So that I'm going to put it right at the base of the grasses, some glue. And then stick the pot on, because I don't want the glue coming out of these little holes really. And then I popped a mini dimensional on the back of this piece here. If you don't have minis, just cut a little section off of your normal dimensionals, or you can just stick it down flat. I might have put a couple actually to, let's move this over a bit. Oops, stuck to me. Okay, peel the backings off. And offset this one just to start covering that pot as well. And then a couple of things I finished it off with. I've used this in another project recently. I love these loose flower flourishes. You get, how many? 60 in a pack. So there's two sizes. There's these little tiny ones here, and then the bigger sizes as well. And you get 3 colours, Pale Papaya, Polished Pink and Fresh Freesia. And on this one I've used the Fresh Freesia. So on this one I might use Polished Pink just to show a different one. Oops, pop that one back in. And a glue dot on the back of here will be great. You can roll it up a little bit if you think it might stick out from underneath, especially if you're using the small ones, but on these bigger ones. And then I just used it here, just on the edge of that plant there. Oops, I've got a bit of the glue dot showing there, never mind. And then finally, I used these Genial Gems because I thought the colours kind of worked really well with this, just to fill a little area on this, on the window sheet. So pop one on there. Also, if you do get any glue on there, it's quite a good way to cover it up actually. So, and then one there, and there you have it, your Perfect Plants window card. I hope you've enjoyed making that. Take care, see you soon, bye.